Thank you. Good to be here.
So President Biden said something earlier today that caught my ear. Let's play it.
The only existential threat humanity faces, even more frightening than a nuclear war, is global warming going above 1.5 degrees in the next 10 years.
Rebecca, what's your analysis?
It's a very frightening thing for the president to make that kind of comparison. Of course, it's not true. Chinese aggression in the South China Sea is a very serious matter. China is in the midst of a strategic nuclear breakout. So is Russia. While they're both trying to redraw national borders, considering invading another country in the case of China and Taiwan, Russia is, in fact, doing it while nuclear saber-rattling. So for the president to compare that against global warming or environmentalism, I think is a serious problem.
There's this unholy alliance, it seems, between China, Russia, and now North Korea getting into the mix. What about all that?
Yeah, we really are at the beginning of a long Cold War with the China-Russia axis. And you've seen Russia now going to North Korea and looking for more arms for the war against Ukraine. The Iranians have been participating by sending drones to Russia to use against the Ukrainians. And so there is this strategic partnership between these authoritarian countries to undermine the United States and our interests abroad.
There was some question about whether India was embracing Russia. Now it appears the Indians may be distancing themselves a bit from Moscow. Is that your read? And that would be good news, right?
Well, the Indians are in a tight spot, obviously, because they have a lot of trade relations with the Russians. They get a lot of their weapons from Russia. But their number one challenge is China, and they understand that. And so because of that reality, they're looking to hedge their bets, to cooperate with the United States. And that's why they haven't been able to be as loud in opposing Russian aggression against the Ukrainians. But they are looking to deepen closer ties to the United States. I think that that's where the future that the United States needs to go, is to deepen ties with India to counter Chinese expansionism.
What is your assessment of the president's trip overseas, what you've seen and heard?
Goodness, I wish, at this point that he didn't take questions, frankly, if I'm going to be totally transparent, because he's so bad off script and the stakes are so high traveling to Hanoi. This is a country, of course, the United States has been working with for many years. Vietnam has been working to deepen ties with the United States for decades. Mm-hmm. It was the Trump administration that sent the aircraft carrier to a port call in Vietnam in 2018, first time in 40 years. And so we need to be pulling Vietnam out of the orbit of China and collaborating with them. And I'm afraid that President Biden spent more time trying to downplay the threat from China and to amplify things like climate change.
It feels like there's this diplomatic dance between the president and President Xi of China, like whether they're going to get on the phone together, whether they're going to meet together. What do you make of that, and what should we do about it?
I'm always in favor of these high-level conversations just to keep them going. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like that's something that's going to be in the offing in the near term. Xi Jinping is actually increasing his aggression against allies. Remember, it was the Chinese military that used water cannons against the Philippines, or just peacefully fishing against Vietnam. And so this aggressive behavior militarily is not going down. And so the Biden administration's diplomatic push to thaw relations is simply not working.
So closening relationship with Vietnam should irritate Beijing, right?
It will irritate Beijing, but Vietnam is, of course, not making some sort of ideological change. It's still a communist country. And we still see reported today that Vietnam is still looking to have weapons deals with the Russians. And so it's not solely ideological, but the Vietnamese understand that Chinese aggression in the South China Sea is a problem. So they're looking around to try to figure out how can they deepen ties with the United States. If the United States is going to stay in the region and hold the line and maintain the preeminent military force.
Rebecca Heinrichs, always love having your analysis. Thank you very much.
Good to be with you.